Namaste, Satnam friends, I'm Grail, welcome to Satsang. And while I'm packing my bags and getting ready for a long trip to Europe and then hopefully America, I will release this video. Of course, this is not exactly Satsang because I'm not answering anyone's questions, but in this video you can find the keys to get closer to enlightenment, because we will talk about the 16 main laws of the universe. Namely, how to protect yourself on the spiritual path, get out of the laws of cause and effect, karma. After this video, it will be easier for you to analyze your life path and hopefully change your life for the better. We are certainly all very different, and each has its own unique path. We have different education, upbringing, cultural environment in which we grew up, different appearance. We differ in our life activity. Some people are more perfect and pure, others not so much. The most important difference between one person and another lies in the fact that everyone bears, according to their strength, energy, the burden of responsibility that everyone has. The more energy and information a person takes inside himself, assimilates without damage to physical and mental health, and releases this information into the world for the benefit of society, the more perfect the person is. And naturally, along the path of his development, spiritual, energetic, and physical, a person must go through a path, and this path is being regulated and improved thanks to some tips, laws that have been described since ancient times in various teachings. These are rules according to which everything develops and harmonious spaces are created. There are 9 levels of human development. Level 1 is the level of the worm. Probably there are no such people at all now. I really hope so. The task of such people is only to multiply and eat. The second level is the level of the worm, but with tricks, habits designed to eat more, adapt better, for only his benefit. And at the third level, a person begins to think about God. He knows that there is something higher. The fourth level is moral person who begins to fulfill moral rules and lives according to them. And when a person already lives according to the laws of the universe, he goes to the fifth level, which is called karmic, when all programs are turned on, when we start working off our previous lives. Here I want to make my own small adjustment to the concept of reincarnation. There are many cases recorded when children remembered their past lives. And there are also adult people who receive knowledge that previously they were someone else. For me, the concept of reincarnation, this is kind of proof that body changes one another, but consciousness, the God who lives life through bodies, always remains. Perhaps this game has some lines of development scenarios, the so-called separate souls, which are improved through rebirth from one body to another. In any case, we cannot know the truth. Let's just assume that in addition to being a divine consciousness, spirit, an individual soul is also attached to the body, which carries its certain background. And at level 5, the most difficult, person is given many tasks. This level is hard to pass, and you may have to live several lives to reach level 6. But in one life, if you follow the laws of the universe, you can go through at least 3 levels. Level 6 is where I actively lead you on my channel, and what I managed to master in this body. This is the level of knowing your higher self, the experience of remembering that you are not only a body and personality, but boundless consciousness. The 7th level is the level of Jesus Christ, which consists in serving people, self-denial. This is when the life of others excites you more than your own. Here, you need a complete lack of selfishness. Levels 8 and 9 are extremely rare in the world. These are the God's messengers, messiahs, called to influence the fate of the whole humanity. The planet is dominated by people of the 3rd and 4th levels, according to people who can see it, but I didn't check everyone. I generally believe that every person, if he wants, can improve endlessly because it brings great joy. Let's play a little. Share in comments, but very objectively, at which level you are now. My level is level 6, but I also noticed the signs of level 7 already, because all I'm doing now in life is mostly connected to helping others. But sometimes it's hard for me to forget about myself completely. And now I will list the 16 basic laws, and you can check for yourself whether you live by observing these laws and how you can improve within each law. Law 1. The law of continuity and improvement. At birth, we receive from our parents, our family, as well as from memory of the soul, all information, including karmic, which is stored in the soul as a file of all our lives, deeds, good and bad. Law 1 says that we accept previous experience, information, and it helps us to pass karmic lessons in this life. In order to improve what we have been given, we need to bring all our talents to life. We know that since childhood we are talented in something, but often we betray our soul and do things in life, for example, that only bring money for survival. We can also ask how our ancestors lived. Did they go to disco using cocaine and changing sexual partners every week? The next law, second law, is the law of will. What it says: we show will in all our deeds. Will is the force that compels us to live by moral rules. If we cause someone pain, this is manifestation, on the contrary, that we have no will. The will is given to each person from above, therefore the law says that no one can take it away from us. I really do believe that a person with a strong will cannot be influenced or coerced. The will manifests in calmness. The peace is a real strength. The manifestation of willpower is when we do not react to anything and calmly keep on doing our business. What I often say to you lately: the will was given to us so that we follow our own path of development and fulfill the script that was prescribed to us before the birth. The will is also needed in order to improve, to create more harmonious relationships with friends and family. Will is action in accordance with high moral law within, not indulging the temptations coming to us from outside. We always know how to act. We feel deep inside the truth, always. Feelings are primary, and then the mind is already connected, which unfortunately sometimes makes us act not according to conscience. For example, to deceive someone or trust someone who should not be trusted. That is why the connection with the heart, the intuitive feeling, is so important. A sign that you did the right thing is always a feeling of joy in your soul. Willpower is also needed to stop eating nasty things and switch to eating healthier foods. This is staying true to yourself when you do not do as you are told. Dress not in what is fashionable, but look as your heart tells you, and so on. Stay true and kind, as I always say. The third law is the law of identity. It says that the small is concentrated in the big, and the big is concentrated in the small. For example, remember the movie Man in Black, when the galaxy was concentrated in a small ball. So the whole universe is concentrated in us. in the same way as we are concentrated in the whole universe. Modern science still cannot explain what happens in the interaction of neutrons and protons inside an atom. There is something happening there, for sure. The spatial arrangement of particles changes their structure, and therefore when you want to know something more than you, your body, go inside and something boundless will open for you, the boundless consciousness. And we can connect to it through deep meditation. We can look for answers both outside, traveling, reading books, communicating with people, and see the great within ourselves as well. Accordingly, in order to improve this law within yourself, you need to learn to meditate, to enter altered states of consciousness in order to receive information. The fourth law of creation. What is creation? It's when you wanted to create something, some kind of project. Maybe you thought about the need to make something more perfect based on moral rules. How to apply this law and embody it into life. Any business should be improved and performed qualitatively. For example, in order to film careers for the channel, I studied all aspects of Kundalini yoga and knowledge beyond yoga, and I also learned how to shoot videos, figured out how the equipment works, learned how to edit videos, convey information to people, and so on. And I'm improving this whole process each day. If you want to do something, try to do it well, and do little improvements each day. Kaizen. This is a Japanese system of improvement, and I can say that my mentality is really close to Japanese people. I was working with them a lot, and it was a pleasure for me because they are very disciplined, punctual, and have a very strong spiritual basis at the same time. どうぞよろしくお願いします。Law 5 says, like attracts like. You are a person to whom people are attracted. They are similar in character, conventions, attitude to the world. Accordingly, it's important to choose friends, partners, with whom you will feel as comfortable and relaxed as possible. And also here I want to remind you, if in you there are anxiety, fears, you attract terrible events into your life. Take care of your inner world. Let it become a magnet only for good events. Sixth law, the law of resonance. Any information that gets to you excites a response in you. For example, you were offended, so you yourself carry this information. So you are not perfect in this case. If you reacted especially emotionally to some information that comes to you, then this information lives in you as well, and you are similar in character to the person who offended you. Accordingly, in order to improve here, you need to learn not to react. If you do not react, then you don't have it. There are many parables that talk about how the wise men were insulted, but they didn't react simply saying, God is with you, because they simply do not perceive information that doesn't apply to them. I advise you the same. The next, seventh law is the law of reincarnation. We met somewhere before. We are here with you not only having fun, but also going through the lessons to the extent that we are supposed to. Lessons must be worked out in order to rise to another step in one's development. How to develop? To improve in deeds in all aspects of existence. The next eighth law is the law of karma. This is serious law because all the information lived in previous incarnations is deposited in the memory of the soul, let's say subconscious, and contains all positive and negative actions. As you can guess, we are working on our own sins. But you should not worry, everything can be easily changed if you live according to the laws of conscience. Often the most difficult lessons a person goes through from 20 to 30 years. And if he didn't betray his soul, didn't lie to himself and others, then he develops further. Karma is the law of cause and effect. I drank alcohol. Most likely tomorrow my head will hurt. If you steal something, tomorrow they will steal from you, or you will lose your health. So you need to treat others the way you want to be treated. Do not judge, do not gossip, manipulate, slander. All laws are interconnected, and you can find tips on how to correct karma in the law of resonance, for example, and so on. The ninth law is the law of conformity. You have to match where you live. If you are a shoemaker, you must make good boots. If you are a philosopher, you must live according to the philosophy that you preach. A good example of inconsistency is when you go to clinic or visiting dietitian and he's overweight. Would you trust such doctor? I try day by day to match what I'm saying on my channel and feel responsibility, although I'm also a living person and I'm not perfect. 10th law, the law of purity of thoughts, and I keep telling you about it. Watch your thoughts and in no case get involved in negative thoughts scenarios. There is a parable about two monks. A woman met on the way of two monks. She couldn't get around the big puddle, and then one of the monks took her in his arms and carried through this puddle. And the second monk was extremely indignant at what he saw, and repeated all the way to the ashram, "How could you touch a woman?" To which the first monk replied, "I left this woman 10 minutes ago, and you continue to carry her." Thinking only about the fact here and now, not thinking about the past, and not worrying about the future, is a great skill that makes us calm and joyful. The next 11th law is the law of magnetism. The strongest attracts the weakest. All leaders have a will, a power that is felt by others. They follow such people. It's necessary to improve physically, energetically, and spiritually in order to become a leader and help other people to improve. Kundalini Yoga helps us a lot with all these three aspects, especially Kriyas for the third chakra, for the willpower, and Kriyas for the aura and magnetic field. The law 12, the law of energy conservation. It says that nothing lives without a trace. This must be remembered. Only state changes. How water turns into steam when heated. You just have to remember this. Death is a change of dimension when our spirit simply passes into another state and the body turns into food for inhabitants of the soil. But let's not talk about such sad things. The next law, 13th, law of exchange. Everything must always circulate and exchange with each other. Energy, information must be received, correctly assimilated, and passed on. The law, 14th, is the law of thanksgiving. Good things happen to you, bad things happen to you. You should always give thanks, be grateful, because this is your study. Each event is intended for us so that we perceive it correctly, and sometimes the so-called bad events and misfortunes turn into blessings. I won't tire of citing my depression as an example. It was the best thing that happened to me, which brought me to spiritual path. The 15th law is the law of giving. The more you give to the world, the more you receive. There is one trap here. You cannot give more than you are receiving. There must be a balance. Someone, for example, is freeloader and only wants to receive and receive. And you give him and give. You can be punished for this, since you do not allow a person to work on himself. The teacher can give us as much information as he/she wants, but if a student resists, doesn't study well, then this is not the teacher's problem. We should remember that no one will save us. We must work hard on ourselves. And you should always value your work and time. This must be returned to you in monetary form or in the form of an exchange for something. For example, some help. And the last, 16th law, is the law of substitution. Everything changes. The old is replaced by the new. The new one should be more perfect. And now in our world, all we see that society is going according to the scenario of degradation. Overeating, vices, too much entertainment, less spirituality, addiction to social media, inability to think independently. This is degradation, while ancient civilizations possessed unique technologies. Now I know it's a very difficult time and it feels like the global cleansing is taking place, but I want to assure you that if you bring good to life, if you serve the world for improvement, then everything will be alright with you. And with this positive chord, I'm finishing my satsang for today. Share your impressions in the comments, your questions. Please practice Kundalini Yoga each day, subscribe to the channel and share the knowledge gained in this video with your loved ones. Stay true and kind, the rest things never mind. Sat Nam.